Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The Philippine Red Cross will simply stop its nationwide coronavirus disease testing operations without warning if the state-run Philippine Health Insurance Corporation fails to settle its around 800 million pesos debts. PRC Chairman and CEO Senator Richard Gordon said he would settle for an initial 500 million pesos settlement from Philhealth at the soonest possible time. Philhealth had reduced its 1.1 billion pesos PRC debt to 623 million pesos after paying the PRC 500 million last October and another 100 million pesos on November 5. The PRC had threatened to stop conducting COVID-19 testing because it was running out of funds to buy supplies from abroad. Its testing fees are lower than those being charged by private laboratories. Gordon said there is a contract between the government and the PRC for the latter to conduct COVID-19 tests. Vice President Leni Robredo on Sunday backed the move to investigate the unauthorized vaccination of some cabinet and presidential security group members to prevent sending a wrong message to the public about breaking the law. In her weekly radio show, Robredo lamented the government officials themselves were those behind the inoculation of the unregistered vaccines. President Duterte revealed that China's Sinopharm vaccines, which were not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration for local use, have been given to some people in government. Robredo said she hoped the officials involved would be transparent and they would make themselves accountable for their unlawful acts. The Vice President also commented on Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana's recent statement that the vaccines were smuggled, but its intention was justified as it was meant to protect the President.
Dapat ka, Eli, maimbestigahan kasi yun yung mensahe din na hindi natin papalampasin. Yung mensahe na pag mali, hindi papalampasin. Kasi kung papalampasin lang, parang ine-encourage yung tao na gumawa ng mali kasi wala naman nangyayari. Parang wala naman sanctions. Pero yung sa akin ka, Eli, para sana ma-shortcut na yung... Ang dami natin kailangang asikasuhin ngayon ng mahalaga. Para ma-shortcut na itong mga investigasyon na gagawin, maging transparent na lang.
Opo.
Maging transparent, ano ba talaga yung nangyari, maging accountable kung merong kailangan maging accountable. Kasi siguro ka, Eli, yung mga naturukan, hindi naman nila kasalanan kasi meron silang sinusunod na authority.
The Department of Tourism National Capital Region is enjoining all accommodation establishments in Metro Manila operating as temporary quarantine facilities for returning overseas Filipinos to strictly adhere to the 14-day mandatory quarantine protocol. This notwithstanding a negative swab test result through RT-PCR tests. In a recent advisory, Regional Director Woodrow Makiling Jr. said the reminder was based on the order of the national government's COVID-19 task force to test all passengers arriving from flagged countries with confirmed cases of the new COVID-19 variant. OFWs are required to take the RT-PCR swab test and must be subjected to a mandatory 14-day facility-based quarantine in spite of a negative swab test result. These include passengers from flights originating from the United Kingdom, Denmark, Ireland, Japan, Australia, Israel, the Netherlands, Hong Kong, Switzerland, France, United States of America, Iceland, Italy, Lebanon, Singapore, Sweden, South Korea, South Africa, Canada, Spain, and Germany. The hotel management are also urged to ensure a fast and convenient check-in procedure of ROFs upon arrival at their property to reduce the probable exposure and risk of getting COVID-19. Justice Secretary Bernardo Guevara on Sunday said the government's anti-cybercrime units will intensify efforts to stop online sexual exploitation of children and minors. Guevara made this commitment amid reports of students holding a Christmas sale of sensual photos and videos to raise funds for distance learning related expenses. Guevara welcomed possible enactment of a new law that would strengthen the legal framework for the government's campaign against human trafficking in cyberspace, particularly online sexual exploitation of children and minors. On Sunday, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian also urged the Department of Justice's Office of Cybercrime and the Philippine National Police's Anti-Cybercrime Group to intensify their probe and crack down on the so-called Christmas sale. These students reportedly used what they earned to buy gadgets for their siblings and pay for internet bills. A Christmas bundle, which contains an array of photos and videos that sometimes reveal the face of sellers, is sold for as low as 150 pesos. Between March 1 and May 24 this year, Gatchalian said there were 279,166 cases of online sexual exploitation of children recorded in Metro Manila, a spike of 264% from the 76,561 cases recorded from the same period last year. In Metro News, no COVID-19 surge in Manila during holidays according to Mayor Isko. Makati LGU aims to immunize all residents and allocates 1 billion pesos for vaccine procurement. And Pasig launches BOSS at Ayala Mall the 30th. More from this report.
Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso said that there has been no record surge of COVID-19 infections in Manila after the holidays. In a television interview on Sunday, Dumagoso said the city government has been implementing measures to curb the possible uptick of new infections since December 1. The Manila Mayor credited the low number of infections to residents who disciplined themselves and observed government-issued health and safety protocols. The local chief executive also encouraged residents who went home to the provinces for the holiday to avail of the city government's free swab testing upon their return to the city. Makati City has allotted 1 billion peso for the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines to ensure that all city residents will get vaccinated for free, as announced by Mayor Abigail Binay today. She said City Hall officials are now coordinating with Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez Jr. and the COVID-19 Interagency Task Force to finalize the details of the purchase and mass vaccination. According to Binay, she will ask the City Council to pass a supplemental budget as soon as the city gets the go-ahead from the IATF. Preparations for the online registration are reportedly underway to ensure safe and convenient access of Makati residents to free vaccination against COVID-19. The Pasig City government launched a Business One-Stop Shop or BOSS for business application transactions to improve the ease in doing business in the city. Mayor Vico Soto led the inauguration of the Pasig City BOSS yesterday, which is located on the 3rd floor of Ayala Malls, the 30th, on Meralco Avenue in Barangay Ugong. According to Soto, the BOSS will help the local government unit to reduce the number of people applying or renewing business permits and licenses at the City Hall. The Pasig BOSS was launched as part of the local government's effort in improving the ease of doing business in the city and eliminate bureaucratic red tape. According to Mayor Soto, the BOSS will help bring the service of the city government closer to businesses that provide the bulk of the city's budget.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Batanes bans single-use plastics. Police Regional Office in Central Visayas opposes plans to hold Sinulog event. And gun battle erupts anew between government troops and NPAs in Agusan. Details in this report.
The province of Batanes welcomed the new year with the implementation of a local ordinance banning single-use plastics in a bid to protect and preserve its environment and tourist spots against pollution. Under Provincial Ordinance No. 302 Series of 2020, the provincial government will start regulating the use of plastics in the islands. It will prohibit the entry, sale, and use of polyethylene terephthalate bottles below 500 ml, food cling wrappers, non-biodegradable plastic and garbage bags, plastic straws, stirrers, cutlery, cups, and styrofoam for food packaging. The Bring Your Own Bag policy for shoppers will also be prescribed in the province. The ordinance was signed last July 16, 2020 by Batanes Governor Marilu H. Caico and was implemented the first day of 2021. The Police Regional Office in Central Visayas or PRO7 has recommended to the Regional Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Disease to disallow sinulog performances as a measure to prevent the spread of coronavirus disease. The recommendation came after a meeting with City Councilor Joel Garganera, chief of the city's Emergency Operations Center, to prevent the possible gathering of people. What the PRO7 will allow are religious activities such as the Novena Mass at the Basilica Minore del Santo Niño. The Sinulog Foundation Inc. and the Cebu City Government have yet to coordinate with the PRO7 for the planned holding of Sinulog Festival this year. An undetermined number of New People's Army terrorists were believed to be killed or wounded when a gun battle erupted between elements of the 29th Infantry Battalion and Communist insurgents in Barangay Halyobong, Kitcharao, Agulsan del Norte. The firefight between the government troops and the terrorist group lasted for more than 10 minutes before the communist terrorists withdrew in different directions. Seized after the firefight were M203 grenade launcher, a broken upper receiver, a bolt carrier for an M16 Armalite rifle, an anti-personnel mine, 3 radios, 4 blasting caps, a rifle grenade, and a detonating switch. Troopers of the 29th Infantry Battalion were still pursuing the fleeing terrorists after the gun battle, which transpired on Saturday.
Now in world news, Canada surges from 500,000 to 600,000 COVID-19 cases in 2 weeks. India approves vaccines as nation's race towards inoculation. And Moscow Metro hires first women train drivers. Let's watch this.
Canada surpassed the grim milestone of 600,000 coronavirus cases Sunday, 2 weeks after passing 500,000, underscoring the pandemic's persistence in the country during the end-of-year holiday period. Canada, a country of about 38 million, did not reach its first 100,000 cases until mid-June, 3 months after it recorded its first COVID-19 diagnosis. Certain provinces, including Ontario and Quebec, imposed lockdown measures in multiple regions during the end-of-year holidays. Responding to the widespread concerns about the people traveling to sunny destinations in defiance of official guidance, the government announced last week that anyone arriving in Canada is required to test negative for the virus. India approved the emergency use of 2 COVID-19 vaccines on Sunday as nations across the world raced to get their population inoculated to beat back surging infections numbers. More than a year after COVID-19 first emerged, it's killed more than 1.8 million people out of 84 million confirmed cases. India, the world's second most infected nation, on Sunday authorized the use of AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine as well as one produced by local pharmaceutical firm Bharat Biotech. India has already held nationwide drills to prepare for one of the world's biggest vaccination programs, aiming to inoculate 300 million of its 1.3 billion people by mid-2021. The Moscow Metro said Sunday it hired female drivers for the first time in its recent history following recent changes in controversial Russian legislation prohibiting women from many professions. Built in the Soviet era as a communist showpiece, the Metro's trains were historically operated by men because work was listed on government's register of jobs deemed harmful for women's health. The Moscow Transport Department said due to the automation of mechanical processes, operating trains is no longer associated with heavy physical exertion. Russian Railways, the country's railway monopoly, previously said it would also begin employing female train drivers in 2021.
Now in entertainment, Pinoy Big Brother host Toni Gonzaga-Soriano appealed to the public to stop bashing and forgive a Pinoy Big Brother evictee who earlier supported the ABS-CBN shutdown. On Sunday, January 3, Chris Russo Laurente was evicted from the PBB house after he received more votes to be evicted than to be saved. It seems that Kapamilya fans have not forgiven Lorente after they continued to bash him for his earlier tweets and opinions that made the rounds in social media when he supported the ABS-CBN shutdown last year. In an Instagram post, Toni shared that he hugged Rusu after the show and he kept apologizing. Toni added that people are very quick to judge Rusu, call him names, and crucified him on social media without realizing that at 19 years old, he does not know the gravity of the words he has said. He has learned his lesson, and this will help him grow and mature in life. Toni ended her post saying that forgiveness is a gift everyone deserves. In sports, Philippines top junior tennis player Alex Eala returns to Spain on Tuesday to resume her training at the Rafa Nadal Academy. The 15-year-old Eala spent the holidays with family but still continued with her training regimen upon the online guidance of her coaches in Spain to keep her in top shape for the season. Ranked number 3 in the International Tennis Federation, Eala targets to join 2 to 3 women's tournaments starting January 18 to beef up her goal of eclipsing her most successful junior season so far last 2020. Last year, Eala achieved a career-high ranking of number 2 in the ITF last October. But her focus now is improving her performances in the women's tourneys after joining only 5 events last year, where she made it past the second round on 3 of those events. And those are the news on Web Today, January 4, 2021. Happy New Year to everyone. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link in this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.